Luke Perry and Heath Ledger were two of Hollywood's most beloved stars, each carving out a unique legacy in their respective genres. Luke Perry, a household name for his iconic portrayal of Dylan McKay on Beverly Hills 90210, was the quintessential heartthrob of the 90s. His role as the brooding, rebellious teen captured the hearts of millions, and he quickly became a symbol of the generation that grew up watching the series. Perry's charisma on screen was undeniable, but off-screen he was a private individual, much like many actors of his era. Heath Ledger, on the other hand, rose to fame with his remarkable performances in films like 10 Things I Hate About You, Brokeback Mountain, and The Dark Knight. His portrayal of the Joker in The Dark Knight became legendary, cementing his place in Hollywood history. Ledger was known for his intense method acting and dedication to his roles, often immersing himself so deeply that it affected his personal well-being. Both Perry and Ledger were beloved not only for their acting skills, but also for their kind personalities and down-to-earth nature, which made them immensely relatable to fans. Despite their successes, the lives of these two stars were marked by struggle and tragedy. Both men faced personal demons that, while hidden from the public eye, would ultimately define their final years. Luke Perry's untimely passing came at the age of 52, and Heath Ledger's death at 28 left the world in shock. Their stories are not just about fame and success, but about the complex battles that many stars fight in private. Battles that are often overshadowed by their public personas. Perry's final moments were a reminder of the fragility of life. In February 2019, he suffered a massive stroke that took him by surprise, despite no apparent signs of health issues beforehand. Perry had been working on the reboot of Beverly Hills 90210 and had just wrapped filming for the hit show Riverdale, where he played Fred Andrews. His death sent shockwaves through Hollywood, leaving many in mourning for the actor who had been so beloved by fans for decades. Heath Ledger's story was equally tragic. In January 2008, Ledger was found dead in his Manhattan apartment, an apparent victim of an accidental overdose. The world had barely come to terms with his extraordinary portrayal of the Joker, a role that would later posthumously earn him an Academy Award for Best Supporting Actor. His death was a profound loss to the film industry, and it sparked a conversation about the pressure that young actors, particularly those in method acting roles, face in balancing their craft with their mental health. While their deaths were both heart-wrenching and premature, they were also indicative of the hidden struggles that many celebrities face behind closed doors. Luke Perry and Heath Ledger both led public lives that masked the mental and physical tolls that came with fame. Their tragic deaths shed light on the realities of mental health and addiction in Hollywood, areas often swept under the rug by a culture that celebrates success but fails to address the darkness that sometimes accompanies it. The untimely deaths of Luke Perry and Heath Ledger rocked Hollywood and left fans grieving the loss of two beloved stars. However, what was truly heartbreaking for many was the realization that behind the glitz and glamour of their public personas, both actors were battling severe personal challenges. Luke Perry's sudden stroke in 2019 and Heath Ledger's tragic accidental overdose in 2008 were not just the result of their work in Hollywood, but were also rooted in deep struggles with health issues. Their experiences shed light on the often hidden battles that many actors face in an industry that celebrates their success, but overlooks their personal well-being. Luke Perry's final battle, stroke and the struggles of aging in Hollywood. Luke Perry's tragic passing was unexpected, especially considering the apparent good health he appeared to have leading up to the event. In February 2019, Perry suffered a massive stroke that left him in a coma. After 5 days, on March 4, 2019, he passed away at the age of 52. The world was left stunned. While Perry had been actively working, starring in Riverdale, and participating in a Beverly Hills 90210 reboot, there were no obvious signs that something was wrong. Stroke is one of the leading causes of death in the world, and Perry's stroke was no different. Strokes occur when blood flow to the brain is interrupted, depriving brain cells of oxygen. This can be caused by a blockage, ischemic stroke, or a rupture of blood vessels, hemorrhagic stroke. In Perry's case, the stroke was likely ischemic, where a clot blocked blood flow. Despite Perry's good overall health, strokes can strike anyone and are often linked to risk factors such as high blood pressure, high cholesterol, diabetes, smoking, or obesity. Perry had previously mentioned in interviews that he was focused on his health, often working out and eating well, trying to avoid the aging pitfalls that many celebrities in Hollywood face. Yet, the pressures of Hollywood life, coupled with the physical and emotional tolls of his career, could have potentially contributed to his stroke. Hollywood can be grueling, and actors are expected to maintain a youthful appearance despite aging. This pressure can often lead to stress and a disregard for personal health. Luke Perry's stroke was a reminder of the importance of heart and brain health, especially as people age, and it raised awareness about the significance of early detection and lifestyle management. In terms of treatment, when someone suffers from a stroke, the first priority is usually stabilizing the patient's condition and preventing further brain damage. In Perry's case, his family confirmed that he had received the best medical care available. Depending on the severity of the stroke, doctors may use medications like clot-busting agents or perform surgical interventions to remove clots or repair damaged blood vessels. Unfortunately, despite medical intervention, Perry's stroke was too severe, and he passed away after being in a coma for several days. Perry's death also highlighted the need for better stroke prevention and awareness, especially among people in high-stress jobs or those in their 40s and 50s, like Perry. Regular checkups, managing blood pressure, avoiding smoking, and maintaining a balanced diet are crucial steps in stroke prevention. In Perry's case, his passing sparked a conversation about the need for everyone, celebrities or not, to prioritize their health, even when the demands of their career seem endless. Heath Ledger's struggles, addiction, mental health, and accidental overdose. Heath Ledger's life was tragically cut short by an accidental overdose on January 22, 2008, at the age of 28. His death was ruled an overdose of prescription medications, including painkillers, anti-anxiety drugs, and sleeping pills. While the loss of Ledger was devastating to his family, friends, and fans, it also raised questions about the mental health struggles that many actors face, particularly those who engage in method acting, a practice in which the actor deeply immerses themselves into a role. Ledger was renowned for his method approach to acting, particularly for his portrayal of the Joker in The Dark Knight. To play such an intense and complex character, Ledger locked himself away in a hotel room for weeks to get into the mind of the Joker, a decision that took a toll on his emotional and psychological state. Ledger had struggled with insomnia for months leading up to his death, often relying on prescription drugs to sleep. In the months before his death, Ledger had reportedly been in a downward spiral, struggling with both his personal life and his professional responsibilities. The pressure of the roles he was undertaking, coupled with his inner turmoil, created a toxic mix of stress, anxiety, and exhaustion. His family later spoke about how Heath's constant drive to give everything to his roles left him physically and emotionally drained. This intense commitment to his craft, while admirable, ultimately took a toll on his health. The overdose was not a result of malicious intent, but rather a combination of Ledger's battle with insomnia, emotional strain, and the overuse of prescription drugs. His doctor, who prescribed the sleeping pills and painkillers, confirmed that Ledger had been using them to manage the intense anxiety he had been feeling. Ledger's struggles with insomnia were documented, and many close to him believed that the demands of the Joker role, paired with the pressures of being in the spotlight, played a significant role in his emotional and physical breakdown. Ledger's death exposed a larger issue within Hollywood: the pressure to succeed, the toll it takes on mental health, and the inability of many in the industry to admit when they need help. For Ledger, who had always been a private person, admitting vulnerability or seeking support seemed impossible. The Hollywood culture of toughness and the expectation of perfection pushed Ledger to cope with his mental health issues in silence, leading to a tragic and avoidable death. Treatment and lessons learned. Both Luke Perry and Heath Ledger's deaths brought attention to the importance of mental and physical health in Hollywood. Perry's stroke served as a stark reminder of the importance of cardiovascular health and stroke prevention, particularly for those in high-stress environments. Ledger's overdose, on the other hand, raised awareness of the hidden battles many actors face, including addiction and mental health struggles. For both, it's clear that their final days were marked by internal struggles that they kept private, and while their deaths were tragic, they have sparked important conversations about health in Hollywood. In recent years, more actors and industry professionals have begun to speak out about the mental health challenges of working in an environment where personal struggles are often overlooked or even stigmatized. The tragedy of both Perry and Ledger has helped to highlight the importance of providing support for those in the industry who may be dealing with addiction, mental health issues, or physical ailments. Chadwick Boseman's passing in 2020, similar to Perry and Ledger, also brought attention to the need for early disease detection and better treatment plans for those suffering in silence. In the wake of these tragic deaths, Hollywood has slowly started to shift its approach to mental health, placing more emphasis on wellness programs and providing better resources for those struggling with the hidden battles of fame. Ultimately, both Luke Perry and Heath Ledger's deaths serve as painful reminders that, behind the glitz and glamour of Hollywood, actors are human, and their struggles are real. The medical treatment for these conditions, whether it's stroke prevention or managing addiction, is complex and requires early detection, proper medical care, and, most importantly, a culture that encourages openness and support. We must continue to honor the legacies of these two stars by continuing the conversation about mental and physical health, ensuring that the industry learns from the mistakes of the past to prevent future tragedies.